Radio. You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
You've had a long day at work, and you can't wait to just get home, take off your shoes, plop yourself down in your favorite chair, and relax. You walk up to your tranquil residential home and your neatly manicured lawn in your quiet suburban neighborhood, put the key in the lock, open the door, and... Yes, the pets have gone wild! What were you thinking? Welcome to the show about everything you always wanted to know about exotic pets. Where to get them, what to feed them, and how to care for them. You'll even find out why some people live with a monkey. Now, here's your host, exotic pet expert and author Bob Tarte. Hey, Bob, what were you thinking?
Hi, I'm Bob Tarte, author of the books Enslaved by Ducks, Foul Weather, Kitty Cornered, and my brand new award-winning book,
What?
Featherbrained, starring book character Bill Holm. And I'm with Bill today. Hi, Bill.
Did I win an award?
You did. You won the Best Star in a birding book by an inept author.
Well, you know, that's the only award I've ever written, or won.
Or written.
Sometimes I write my own awards and put them on the wall.
Well, few people realize that Featherbrain has won a Michigan Notable Books Award from the Library of Michigan.
What's the Library of Michigan?
We're here today at Muskegon Wastewater System, and it is 2017, and you might be wondering, why, oh why, are they recording a new podcast when they recorded 4 last year that Bob hasn't posted?
Well, there's a good reason that those 4 weren't posted, just like this one won't be posted.
Yes, and the reason is that it is difficult being a beam of light in a dark world.
I've certainly found that, especially when it's negative light.
And it's just tough finding the energy and the willpower and the spirit to post these because I just see so much darkness around us these days. And my tiny little glow is going out.
What?
But I do have other good news for fans of my books, and that is that 2 of them will be made into audiobooks. Kitty Cornered and Enslaved by Ducks will be made into audiobooks. Did I tell you that, Bill?
Yes, you told me about 100 times.
Yeah, okay.
Well, who's going to be reading those? Victor Buono?
I believe so. It might be Alfred Ryder.
Who's Alfred Ryder?
He played a East European crook in Mission Impossible several times.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So we're here at Muskegon Wastewater, and we're doing a podcast because we've actually seen a couple of birds, haven't we?
We certainly have. And we saw, I sat here. I have the ability to look at a bunch of birds and immediately know how many there are.
How do you do that?
I don't know. It's a gift. I don't know. You know, sometimes you have a gift. People just say, I can do this, and I don't know why.
Do you have the ability to do a podcast and know how much time we still have left?
It just seems like too much time.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But what did we see today? Because you were able to count a couple of birds very quickly.
There was one snowy owl immediately. I knew.
You counted the one immediately?
I caught it immediately.
I haven't.
I saw it. I saw the field. I saw it in my field of vision, and I said 1.
Wow. And what happened to that snowy owl?
We turned our heads for just a moment, and out of nowhere, a car pulls up and scares it away. So we don't know where it is.
No, because there was not a single car here at Muskegon Wastewater System here on January 24th, 2017.
Right.
And
all of a
sudden, someone was parked right by where we had last seen the owl, and the owl was gone.
It's just so frustrating.
So this is going to be a show of birding tips. And so the number one birding tip is don't bird where there are other birders.
There are many reasons for that.
Yes. I do have another tip, and that is this is kind of on your way to birding, that if you are en route birding somewhere, and say you stop someplace for a cup of coffee, okay?
Sure.
Or use the facilities or something. Number one tip is don't steal someone's baby.
Uh-oh.
No, it's just a tip because it's going to encumber you.
No wonder I don't see any birds.
It's going to encumber you while you're trying to see birds.
I guess you're right. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Now, Bill and I stopped at a field here. It was on Swanson Road north of Apple.
Isn't it interesting that we come looking for birds and it's Swanson Road?
That is very interesting. An Apple Road.
Apple, that's exactly
Apple
right.
Road. So we were scanning the field to see if we could find some snow geese. I did not bring my scope today. You really need a scope for scanning a field looking for snow geese. So here's a birding tip. I took my pair of binoculars and I held them up to Bill's pair of binoculars, doubling the viewing power. Now, the viewing power is so great, though, that you get a shaky image. So Bill...
Well, I always get a shaky image.
Bill got down on one knee and he proposed. He proposed that we do something better with our time than this. And then he held his arm straight up in the air and he became a human tripod. And I scanned the field and I did not see any geese at all. I just saw plastic bags. So I thought I would return the favor for Bill, but I'm not the strongest guy in the world, and I wasn't able to hold up 2 pairs of binoculars.
I know. It was kind of embarrassing. It was sort of like one of those pyramids at a football game that just sort of collapses, the human pyramids.
Of course, that's always funny.
Well, this was pretty funny, too.
Yeah, I guess it was funny, except I'm sorry about those binoculars.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about my broken ankle.
Well, so we just saw a couple other birds, though.
Yeah.
What did we see on the ice besides the gulls? Did you instantly count the gulls?
There were 7,408.
Okay. And they were a mix of herring gulls and mostly ringbills, right?
Yes, and the Labrador gull was in there.
Was it?
Yeah. Actually, it's Newfoundland and Labrador now. Labrador.
Okay.
I didn't. I was looking at an atlas the other day, and there it is. It's like it's one country now. It looks like, or not country, province. Did you know that, or am I misinterpreting what I saw?
No, I believe I've seen that, but I didn't think that was new.
Oh, there on the ice there was one bald eagle, and we saw one in the air.
Here comes a car. It's distant. It's distant, so I don't know if it's going to get us where we are hogging the Center Dike Road. But you might mention what we just saw here on the Center Dike Road.
We saw 148 snow buntings.
Yes, and I haven't seen... it's only 7 minutes so far.
Are you kidding?
No. So I haven't seen snow buntings for a long, long time. Have you?
Neither have I, but I think the last time I saw them was in this very spot.
It was in this very spot. I tried to get photos thinking we could just drive by. And, because some birds, here's a tip for you. Sometimes you can use your car as a duck blind.
Uh-huh.
You can, because you can drive up on some ducks, certainly not a northern shoveler because they're cowards.
Oh.
But you can drive up on some ducks, and if you're in your car, they just look over there and they say, a box. There's a moving box.
And I don't know if they actually say that.
Moving box. There's a head in it, but, that's not in our DNA to be threatened by a moving box with a head in it. And so you can look at them. But northern shovelers, they see anything.
What about a coffin?
They see
in a cortege. What do they call that?
Like a duck coffin?
Well,
a corsage? Is that why you had problems at the prom? Did you give your girlfriend something from a funeral home?
I showed up in a hearse inside a coffin. I thought it would be funny.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of funny, there was a tire dealer down the street from me that's having a blowout sale.
Now that is something.
I sprang that on Bill while he was drinking his Aquafina water, but you controlled yourself pretty good. I thought you'd do, okay, there's the Danny Thomas spit take.
Yeah. So, but you know what impressed me? Those snow buntings are so cute.
Aren't they? They're cute. And I was hoping to spy a Lapland longspur among them because I heard there was one.
Yeah, right.
But we didn't even get a very good chance to see the snow buntings because they were constantly in motion or they were bunting around in the weeds.
Yeah, and there was one that got thrown out at first.
Yeah, it was kind of sad.
Yeah, well,
really hung his head.
You'd think they'd be faster than that.
Yep. Oh, there's a car way over across. Maybe they're looking at us, wondering what we're looking at, not realizing that we're having the time of our lives here.
You know what else is interesting? That we're at a wastewater treatment plant, and all the water is frozen.
That's the thing. I expected to come here because we've been having a milder than usual January.
Ooh, that's for sure.
It was 56 in Lowell. It was 56 last Saturday. And so I was expecting to come here and there'd be liquid water. Right? But
I was expecting the same thing.
But imagine my surprise when the main pond we're on, it's filled with liquid nitrogen.
That may explain why the snow buntings are on the move.
It may explain that. Yes. Well, let's see.
How much time is left?
We're at about the 10-minute mark, and we've just begun with our birding tips. I'm sure we're going to think of a lot more of them as we go along. And
I have one tip. Don't go.
Well, don't go unless you've read Featherbrained. And the subtitle of Featherbrained is My Bumbling Quest to Become a Birder and Find a Rare Bird on My Own, University of Michigan Press publication. And it's kind of a how-to book in disguise, in a way. It's about how
Do you actually think anyone would learn anything from reading that book?
No. But I recommend that you pick up a copy anyway because I get a little royalty on every book.
How much?
A little.
A little bit?
A little bit.
I'll have to buy one and read it sometime.
Yeah, you should. You're in it a lot.
I am?
Yes, you are in it a lot. So we're going to start the car. By the way, I had to spend a long time filling out forms here today to get a license to bird at Muskegon Wastewater. But it's always good to follow the rules. That's a birding tip. Always good to follow the rules.
Right, and don't bring a bazooka with you.
No, and don't try to net the snowy owl. It's a good thing I told the woman at the ad building. That's what us birders call the administration building, the ad building. It's a good thing I told her that I was going to net the owl because then she told me that that's probably against the rules.
Oh my gosh, we could have gotten in trouble.
We could have gotten in trouble. So, okay, you are listening to What Were You Thinking, the special birding tips Muskegon Wastewater something or other show. And we'll be back. We're going to do a little more birding. How about it, Bill?
Yeah, we'll probably be back in like a minute and a half because there's just almost nothing here except what we've described so far.
Yeah, but we'll drive around and look, and maybe we can block the guy who's just coming around the bend now.
Is he? Is he behind us?
No, see him up there? And he probably wonders why we're here, and he thinks we're seeing something. He doesn't know we're having the time of our lives doing this podcast. So we'll be back after this word from our sponsor. You're listening to What Were You Thinking?
What Were You Thinking? We'll be right back after Bob gets the ducks out of his living room. Don't go away.
I love cleaning the litter box, said no one ever. Luckily, there's World's Best Cat Litter, the litter that promises less mess with less litter. Only World's Best Cat Litter uses the concentrated power of corn to quickly trap odors in tight clumps. And quick clumping means you never have to chisel or scrape the box. Less cleanup with less wasted litter? That's a litter bit amazing. Save $2 on World's Best Cat Litter. Visit www.saveonworldsbest.com.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Going back to the my vaccine thing, you cost me a lot of misery, and all total, $2,700 in doggy fees, and all it took was one container of Dynavite, 2 pounds, 3 ounces, and my dog has been cured. Abby's a 5-year-old Silky Terrier. She had like chicken pox on her belly, clusters of bumps on her back, and she was allergic to like 70-some-odd things. So the dermatologist, it was, oh yeah, just keep giving her needles every 10 days, but she's not clearing up. And then it came up on my radio, Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com. 859-428-1000. Dynavite is nutrition.
I give her the Dynavite after 5 weeks, and one morning there was nothing there, and I'm like, she's all clear. There wasn't one blemish on her body. Her fur is beautiful. She is totally happy. She is as healthy, bump-free, pimple-free, shiny, silky. It turned our lives around. So thank you very much for Dynavite. I couldn't be happier. Dynavite's the bomb.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. Okay, ducks are in the pond, rabbits in his hutch, and monkeys... Oh, in my car! Oh, okay, well, I go check my insurance policy. We'll turn you back over to Bob.
Hi, everybody. Chuck Glaucous here. Glaucous Gulls. Oh, boy. I tell you, the birders are going to be laughing about that. You may have seen my gulls before. Chuck Glaucous here. Birders are going to be laughing at that.
Well, not everybody has a gull named after him.
Well, and I'm mentioning the Glaucous Gull because we didn't see too many birds here because, do you know we did a podcast here, Bill, a few years ago? And it was the same thing where it was
that from my memory,
where everything was frozen and we saw nothing. But at least we saw some things today.
We did. We saw like 7 or something different things.
Yeah, we did. We saw Now, here's a little controversy. Is it rough-legged hawk or is it rough-legged hawk?
Let me weigh in on that controversy.
It's red tail. No, it was the bullseye bird, the bullseye raptor.
Legged.
Okay.
Shoot me, I'm a traditionalist.
Mm-hmm. Like the famous pirate Peg-Legged Pete.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they? It's a 3-legged race, isn't it?
It is a 3-leggedy race.
Well.
So...
go ahead.
Anyway, so we stopped...
there's a professional pause.
After a caesura.
Oh, boy.
Oh. After we passed the same car 4 or 5 times on the center dike, I finally unrolled the window and asked the guy if he was seeing anything, and the woman who was with him mentioned the Glaucous Gull. Hi, Chuck Glaucous here. Have you seen my gulls? And that there were a couple of them out on the ice. So I took about 50 photos, hoping that later, in the privacy of my home, I'll be able to examine those photos very carefully and pick out the Glaucous Gull. And maybe I know a little delicacy is necessary. Bill, would you like to read a description of the Glaucous Gull from? What are you reading this from?
The Sibley Guide to Birds, 2nd edition. Adults only.
Okay, let's get the dirt on the Glaucous Gull.
Mm-hmm. One of our largest gulls with heavy bill. Always pale. Well, that could be either one of us.
Yeah.
Juvenile, pale brown or whitish overall, with wingtips paler than body.
Get to the good stuff.
Hybridizes extensively with herring gull and glaucous winged gulls and any other gull that comes around.
Well, they ought to sell this Sibley book with a plain brown wrapper on it.
It is just shameful. Well, look at that gull.
That looks like the kind of gull that would be hybridizing like crazy.
What a smug little look on his face.
Look at that little wanton look on that gull's face. Oh. Yes.
Well, that one's winking.
Where were you today, Chuck Glaucous? Were you hybridizing with those herring gulls again? No, I wasn't, Mom. Oh, well, anyway, so, I might not be able to ID
Look
it.
Look at its long call posture.
Oh, boy.
That is just shameful.
All right.
That is, I cannot even look at that any longer, although I have to say.
Okay, but page 212 of the Sibley Guide. Woo-woo! Whoa. So, we saw possibly the Glaucous Gull, possibly a juvenile lesser black-backed gull, but I'll have to check the pictures. I must say that the lesser black-backed gull is a little bit more circumspect in its behavior.
Oh, absolutely.
Doesn't hybridize at the tip of a wing or the flip of a tail. Thank you very much. Let's have a couple other birding tips. This is birding etiquette. I don't understand the people today who were birding here at Muskegon Wastewater with their headlights on.
Even I don't understand that.
No, and you understand everything.
Well, frankly, I have to admit I don't know a lot about birding. But I do know that it's just a complete waste of time and you shouldn't use your headlights.
No, unless you're flashing your lights at a bird to notify it of something.
Well, that's the signal to the Glaucous Gull to come on over.
Oh. And you spotted a belted kingfisher.
I did. It was a little wobbly, but it was hanging on.
Yeah.
It was hanging on.
Yeah, you think it was belted by the snowy owl?
I think it had a belt or two.
Oh.
See, it's not the proper. I mean, I do my best.
You do your best. And so the rough-legged hawk, and I guess...
It has targets on its wings.
Targets on its wings. And where is your disabled car parked?
The target.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
No. So that was about it that we saw at Muskegon Wastewater. And I think another birding tip would be to have some idea of what the birds look like before you go to see them, because I still don't really know what a Glaucous Gull looks like. I'm going to have to look in. I gotta check out page 212 again.
Yeah, that's right. I'm surprised you didn't try to get its phone number.
Yeah. So a couple more things. And that is, I wanted to mention that this is a little bit hush-hush, but we're back again to the situation where a movie might be made of Enslaved by Ducks.
What?
Yes. And I'm not going to say too much, but I'm just going to say that I got the wink-wink, nod-nod, chin-wag
from the Glaucous Gull.
From the Glaucous Gull, that it looks like there's some life to that project again, so that might be happening, and I hope it does, because I've been working really hard trying to write some good stuff, and I want to just be able to coast. I want to be able to just coast and even turn out lower quality work than I have already.
I know, and I think
it seems hard to believe.
It does, but I'm just wondering if I'm going to get a taste of this.
Well, we're going to go to the Chinese restaurant in a few minutes.
And who's going to play me? That's what I want to know.
That's right, because you would have a very large role as the hammer holder. Oh, here come the gulls. Ah! Look at them all.
Ooh.
We're right by the landfill. And that's right, we do have a tip. Landfills are good places for gulls. Landfills, because they don't like anything too obvious. They prefer a bland fill. But they like it because if you got a piece of heavy-duty machinery that's plowing and uncovering some particularly tasty garbage, especially some tasty garbage that a Glaucous Gull might have its eye on.
They'll eat anything.
Yeah. So landfills are good for gulls. And you mentioned another good point about birding at landfills, Bill.
I did? Mm-hmm. Give me a hint. The chairs that you can see there. You could go to a landfill and pick up a nice chair.
That's it. You can bird, and you can pick up a nice chair to take home with you and put in your living room.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. And,
I saw a nice one. It was kind of a mustard color, and it looked comfortable. It had large arm cushions, and, and who knows, maybe a Glaucous Gull would come sit on it with you.
Yeah, what did you think of that aluminum lawn chair with the broken webbing that I put in the trunk? I think a little duct tape, and that'll look good in the living room, don't you think?
Or just toss it over the barbed wire fence here. Oh, no, you brought it from there. See, I didn't get your joke.
I collected it.
I thought you brought it with you. That you always had it with you in the trunk, and that I was going to suggest here's a place that you could just deposit it. But obviously, I didn't get the joke well, actually, it wasn't a joke because there is one back there.
Tire place down the street from me said blowout sale. That's right down the street from me, blowout sale.
That is very funny.
Yeah.
I saw a sign once that says something about getting a college education, and it was EDUKATION.
Really?
I did.
Wow. Well,
boy, maybe I should just sort of withdraw from the podcast at this point.
I think maybe we're going to have kind of an early end to the podcast. Oh, I know. I do have a topic, and that is that this is not the first birding I've done this year. That last week I went to Huff Park, and at Huff Park I saw a northern shrike. I expected to see the northern shrike perched on a phone line because I've only seen 3 northern shrikes in my life, and they've all been on phone lines except for this bird. This bird was on a tree, a stunted tree.
Well, was it like flipping over the tree? See, it was
doing a double somersault.
I'm hungry. We got to get to the #1 Chinese restaurant in Coopersville.
Will, but I want to talk about birding, and I saw the northern shrike, and I was happy to see it, and I got a little picture, and it flew off. Then I was This was after some freezing rain, and I was on the asphalt path, and I was trying to take a picture of a kestrel, and whoop, whoop, I fell on the asphalt.
You all right?
I'm fine, but as I was falling, everything was just kind of in slow motion, and I said to myself, don't break the camera. And I broke. Interesting story, and there's a little ending to it, a little punchline.
Break the camera.
The kestrel flew off. I scared it by falling.
Oh.
Yeah, so what do you know? And then a couple days ago, there was word that there was a Bohemian waxwing.
You should get together with a Glaucous Gull.
I was going to say that, Bohemian waxwing. Talk about your hybridizers. Whoa. So I did not see it. And I can't tell you how many times I've tried to see Bohemian waxwings. This is maybe my 6th or 7th try in 5 years, and I have yet to see one.
Oh, what a shame. How frustrating. You must just feel awful.
I felt pretty good because I got to see a bunch of cedar waxwings eating berries. Eating berries. No one has ever seen a cedar waxwing. This is behavior.
I take it all back.
This is behavior that's never been witnessed before, and I saw it.
Wow, I wish I'd been there for that one.
Yeah, that was good. It was good. Well, I think that's about enough of this.
Boy, I'll say.
This special. But I want to mention again, Featherbrained, my brand new book about birding, wins the Michigan Notable Book Award.
How many times are you going to mention that?
2017. One of only 20 books to win that prize this year. And that prize is awarded to books either by Michigan authors or about Michigan topics.
So what do you get for that award?
So thanks so much for tuning in, and visit my website.
Thank you, and how do you do?
BobTarte.com for information on all of my books. And you go to the Featherbrain section, you'll see a bunch of bird pictures that go with Featherbrain.
Is there going to be a movie made of Featherbrain?
There will not. So thanks to my producer, Mark Winter.
Oh, Mark. Hey, Mark.
And thanks so much to Dr. Bill Holm.
Hey, Bill.
And this is Glaucous Gull saying so long.
Thinking about buying a monkey? How about a ferret or a skunk? Then check out the show that will answer the burning questions. Where do you get them? What do you feed them? How do you take care of them? And most of all, what were you thinking? With exotic pet expert and author Bob Tarte. Every week on demand from PetLifeRadio.com.